Hello, Exiles. This is Ryan from Behind Eyes Gaming, and welcome to another Path of Exile video. In today's video, I'm going to go over some upgrades I got to my Spectral Shield Throw Gladiator, and go over some cool stuff I found. Here's a little preview. Got a doctor here. It's in solo self-found. I doubt I'm going to complete 7 more doctors, but it is possible. Maybe I'll get a headhunter in solo self-found. Who knows? I got a lot of other cool stuff I want to show you, and I got a lot of upgrades to my characters. So I'm going to go over all of that. First of all, you may notice I have a 6 link, and it is a Lionized Vision, which gives me level 15 Pierce as well. So functionally, this makes my Spectral Shield Throw into a 7 link, getting the more damage from Pierce, and it's very, very strong. I actually had found a 6 link, or rather, linked a 6 link prior to this as well. This current Tempest Sanctuary, Glorious Leather. It's not too bad, but I got this instead. And honestly, I think between that, between the Pierce and the Physical Damage Leeched as Mana, it's really good, really big upgrade to my build. I also finally got an Anointment, and I got Aggressive Bastion, which gives me a way to generate endurance charges as well as more block, which is really nice. And of course, the amulet I have currently has a lot of life on it, so that's pretty cool. I upgraded my weapon as well. Weapon has increased physical damage over time, and chance to bleed with bleed damage. So I got all 3 of those. This gives me a considerable DPS boost as well. Still rocking the same shield, 2500 shield. That's pretty much all there is to it. It's good. I still haven't gotten a Warlord's Exalt. I'm gonna probably try to work on that at some point, but I want to start a new character and I want to talk about that. I'm also working on a heist video. Currently I am editing it. I got it all filmed and everything, so look forward to that. I know I've said that for a while, but I finally got that kind of running. It took a lot of setup because I'm not really that used to playing heists, so I needed to learn the ins and outs. I got these Apothecary's gloves, which have an enormous amount of life on them, and then they have the implicit damage over time as well. I got this new leather belt with even higher life. It has max T1 life, and then of course I have the implicit as well, so just a huge amount of life. I'm trying to get life since I don't get that much in my build. I have the same boots. I have a little bit different gloves here. I currently have this one going for me, which is okay, and this one, which has higher life, but doesn't really provide anything else that's particularly good, except for the implicit chaos. I've been trying to add to chaos, which is particularly nice, but yeah, that's pretty much the only thing. And then this helmet, I did spend an Exalt to get a higher roll. Unfortunately, I didn't get 8% on the physical damage taken from hits as fire. I got 7, and I only currently have 1 Exalt left because I did Exalt slam a cluster jewel, which I can talk about as well. Oh, and I have this nice little Thief's Trinket as a kind of a spoiler for my thing. This one gives me 15% chance in heists for Orbs of Alteration to drop as Chaos Orbs instead. I Chaos spam a lot of stuff because, you know, I'm not buying things with my Chaos Orbs, so I end up Chaos spamming a lot of stuff, so this is very handy for me. I actually have a cluster jewel set up. I spec'd out of this side of the tree, and I got this cluster jewel, which doesn't have any notables, but it has really good stats. It's got a lot of flat life, it's got a lot of dexterity, which I desperately needed, it's got some elemental resistance, which helped me kind of ease up on some of my gear a little bit, and then it's got the 25% increased effect. So each one of these nodes is 15% physical damage, 6 dex, 3 all resist, and 8 base life. Pretty good. I still am using the same cluster jewel I had before with disorienting wounds, and then of course I'm also using this vicious guard block small cluster. And then over here I don't have a better, I only had a 6 socket one that would work, which is just a generic damage over time one. It's got chaos resist though and max mana, so it's pretty good. It's got exposure therapy, which gives me 30% chaos resist against damage over time. and damage over time multiplier. If I can get a 5 or a 4 passive one, then I can definitely improve things there. But my chaos resist against damage over time is actually positive, which is really nice for certain maps. You can see I'm not completely LE weakness capped, but I got something else down here. I beat Cirrus and got myself a Thread of Hope. So one of the cool things about this is this Thread of Hope is medium. It does give me minus 17 to all elemental resists. I can try to divine that, and I may do so in order to get closer to LE weakness cap. But I was able to get Disciple of the Unyielding, which gives me 1 minimum endurance charge and a second way to generate endurance charges. So now between Aggressive Bastion and Disciple of the Unyielding, I have a lot of endurance charges in maps. I always have 3 endurance charges and while I'm killing things, and they also give me some damage. I get 24% damage from that. I also got Disciple of the Slaughter. I have no way, I generate frenzy charges with Blood Rage, so I have no way to generate frenzy charges on bosses, which gives me a more damage multiplier, and I lose that against bosses. Like when I was fighting Cirrus, I wasn't able to have any of my frenzy charges up, which kind of lowered my kill speed on him, which was actually probably the smoothest Cirrus kill I've ever had because of all of the defenses of this build. And then I also decided to get Fury Bolts because it is just a lot of utility, projectile damage and projectile speed, and then the 20 strength. It's not huge. I probably don't need it, but I think it's marginally better than Path of the Warrior maybe. I still get like a higher base damage, which affects my bleed. My current bleeds in my hideout without some of my buffs on are right around the 45k on average before things such as War Banner and Pride. POB says that with my buffs up and everything, I'm doing bleeds for about 1.1 to 1.2 million on my bleeds, which is really nice. And that's with 8 bleed stacks up from Crimson Dance. So yeah, that's not always going to be consistent, but if I can have perfect DPS time up, which is a lot easier with the Lionized Vision, then I have a pretty sizable amount of DPS. Now I want to go over some of the cool stuff now that I went over the character. Oh, and the last thing is I also have another small cluster with Vicious Guard. So I have a sizable amount of block, and I have Leech, and I have a good amount of regen. These each give 1.5% regen. So, you know, it's and then I have like Golem's Blood and Master of the Arena as well. So I am pretty good as far as regen goes. I had to anoint Expertise as well because of all of the decks I lost from getting out of here. But yeah, I made up for the block, and I have more damage because of this. My baseline defense is over 16,000 now. And then with my Basalt Flask up, it goes up to almost 20,000, and then I get another about 5,000 with Vol Molten Shell, so I get really close to 25,000 armor, which is really nice, especially with this helm craft that I have as well, which makes a portion of my physical damage taken as fire. So physical damage hits basically do very little to me. Even vulnerability maps are not very difficult for me to run, except for like in extreme edge cases of really, really powerful rares or bosses. But yeah, physical damage is basically trivial for me. So let's look into some of the cool stuff. I showed that I have a doctor. I also have the Immortal. So this is worth like 11 exalts on Trade League. This is worth like 2 exalts on Trade League, something like that at the moment. So these are really cool. I also have 2 the Academics. This is actually attainable. I could get an Inspired Learning from this, which is cool. I have some cool rares, possibly the coolest of which is this, which I just crafted from ROG. So if you take a look at this amulet, it's got Tier 1% energy shield, Tier 1 energy shield, and triple Tier 1 elemental resistance. This is incredible. This is probably one of the better items I've found in a long time. It's also got physical damage to attacks, but that's probably not going to be used in a build that's stacking energy shield. It could do, but I'm actually going to talk about my next build because I'm probably going to use this in my next build. But I'll go over some of the other cool stuff I have. This one's pretty cool as well. I might have also gotten this from ROG. It's been a while, so I don't remember. But it's got tier 1% mana regen. It's got tier 3 mana, which isn't super great, but it's also got some crit multi, tier 2 spell damage, and tier 1 added cold to spells. So this could potentially be useful in a spellcaster, and it'll definitely fix any mana issues I have. And then one of the kind of cool things I have here that I probably need to fix, and it might require some really lucky harvesting, or I might have to just YOLO annul it at some point, is this thing here, which gives me tier 1 flat physical damage and tier 2% physical damage. So ideally, I get a harvest craft that allows me to remove the cold damage, and then I go for the physical exalt harvest. So it's going to require 2 incredibly rare ones. But I also got tier 1 accuracy and tier 1 attack speed. Tier 1 strength as well, not so great. And it's on a meat grinder, which has an implicit 5% chance to deal double damage, which is a more multiplier. My first thought with this is maybe like an ice crash build, but I don't really like two-handed melee weapons in this patch because it's really hard to get good defenses on them. I thought about maybe doing it with the new slam totems, the new totems that allow you to link a slam, and then I do like I do one of those slam totems with this, and that gives me a little defensive utility in that I can hide behind my totems and play very defensively. That's pretty much the only thing I can think of, and I do have just a boatload. I've gotten so many soul mantles. I have like 3 soul mantles. I'll probably try to link one. I should just be vendoring them. I don't know why I'm holding on to all 3, but I have so many soul mantles at the moment. So that I might 6-link another soul mantle. We'll see what I'm thinking, or 6-link a soul mantle. And lastly, I have this shield, which these 2 things combined make me want to go Trickster. I haven't played a Trickster in quite a while. Trickster is one of my favorite ascendancies, and I really want to do a Reap Trickster, a Reap damage over time Trickster. So this one here, it's not amazing or anything, but it's still pretty cool. It's got tier 1 fire, tier 2 lightning, tier 1 spell block, and then I crafted some life on there, and it's got tier 2 hybrid evasion energy shield. Unfortunately, the spell damage really wrecks it, and makes it so I can't just like easily slam something on there with an exalt or something. But you know, not every piece of gear can be as good as this one. This one's incredible. Obviously, I'm going to get rid of Harpooner. That came on as an effective ROG, and I'll put something more effective on there. But yeah, this is really nice. So have all of that stuff. So what I think I'm going to do for my next major build, I have a lot of other builds I'm messing around with, but I don't think I'm really like dedicated to any of them, is I think I'm going to do a Reap Trickster. So if you guys want to see how that turns out in solo self-found, and I can even use this weapon as well because of the and maybe not because it requires 212 strength, which I may or may not be able to get. But it's got 52 built in, so if I can get it on temporarily, I can just take something off and get going. But yeah, if so, this will give me a lot of damage. I might just be better off with a huge spell damage, cast speed, damage over or physical damage over time wand. Maybe I try to get a Warlord's wand with spell damage and increased physical damage over time. That would be cool. Maybe I'll go for that. But regardless, that is what I'm thinking for my next build, and I've got a lot of cool stuff. I'm really enjoying solo self-found. It's really gratifying each step of the way. Like, I feel like everything's kind of a project. I'm like, oh, I need to do this next. I need to get a 6 link. I need to get a better 6 link. I need to fix my weapon. And each little step up, you feel the difference, and it feels very, very gratifying. So I know I've recommended this a bunch, but yeah, if you haven't tried out Solo Self-Found, give it a shot. If you don't want to, that's fine, but just know that even if you're on Trade League, if you feel kind of overwhelmed, just keep playing a strong character. Like, just find a strong character that you enjoy playing, keep playing it. Eventually, you'll get a lot of good stuff, and just over time, over the course of the league, you'll accumulate a lot of good stuff, and you'll have stuff for other characters if you want that as well. So, hope you enjoyed. This has been Ryan from Behind Eyes Gaming, and I will see you next time. Bye.